It's time for Prime Business with me, Charles Ayitey. This evening, some oil marketing companies are at risk of having their operations shut down by the National Petroleum Authority very soon. The firms in question failed to advance millions of cedis collected on behalf of the authority since December last year. George Rafi has been following this story and has come through with this report.
Sources say these are funds that the oil marketing companies have collected through the primary distribution margin, that is, any time they sell a litre of petroleum products at their service stations. These debts Joy Business understands is from December last year to April 2022. The National Petroleum Authority in the notice have announced that it will initiate legal action against these firms if they fail to settle these debts by August 4, 2022. For some, the development again may expose the challenges that a lot of the oil marketing companies are going through, as a lot are struggling to deal with competition in the sector. It has also exposed the serious inefficiencies with some of the oil marketing companies that were in the past used to government subsidy program. This has reignited calls for the National Petroleum Authority to review its licensing requirement. The move by the regulators coming on the back of a recent action by the Ghana Revenue Authority that had to turn to the court to also recover some taxes owed by these firms. These developments could back claims that the oil marketing industry is not that lucrative in terms of being assured of those super profits, as rising prices of petroleum products at the pumps is hitting hard at consumption, resulting in reduced earnings for these marketing companies.
Meanwhile, the National Petroleum Authority has hinted that the supply of petroleum products is under threat if the defaulting firms fail to settle their debts. Speaking of the marketplace, communications manager at the NPA, Mohammed Abdul Kudo, says his outfit has given the defaulters a 2-week ultimatum to settle their debt or face legal action.
If you are not able to collect all of these monies, what it means is that it is likely to hinder the distribution of the product across the length and breadth of this country. And the further you are away from the coast, where there is supposed to be the gateway of the product to the country, the problem, it could actually be to your access of the product. So it is actually very critical for the National Petroleum Authority to be able to collect it. And I must put it that, yes, the collection is done by us, but the management largely is run by the bulk oil storage and transport.
Okay. How soon should we expect action from the NPA? There's a notice to the effect that the NPA will initiate legal action against these companies. What would that entail? And I know that there was, at a point, a plan to name and shame these companies. How far have you gone with that?
Okay, so to be fair with them, you need to give them a certain a timeline, a benefit of the doubt to see what their actions would be. And so in the wisdom of the authority, we decided that let's give them a window of 14 days to respond to our query. If we don't hear from them after 14 days, we'll certainly be taking the next line of action. And we've indicated our resolve to use all means available to us, including the law court, to get the money from them.
A panel of students from the University of Ghana Business School are calling on government to introduce measures and policies that will reduce the current economic hardship faced Ghanaians. The students made the call at the maiden edition of the Joy Business Town Hall meeting. The aim of this town hall meeting is to touch on conversations about everyday happenings in the business ecosystem and medium to proffer solutions. Here's more.
Maiden Joy Business Town Hall meeting was held at the R.S. Samagashi Hall of the University of Ghana Business School. The initiative is aimed at advancing conversations about everyday happenings in the business ecosystem and the medium to prefer solutions. The 4-member panel enumerated a number of economic issues that touched on Ghana's growing debt stock, inflation, interest rates, e-levy, and the decision to go to the IMF.
Figures currently show that Ghana loses about 5 billion Ghana cedis through tax incentives and tax evasion, which means that if we are able to put in the proper mechanisms, make sure that people don't invade our tax system, make sure that these incentives given to these multinationals are reduced, we can actually raise some revenue that can show us up.
What I believe the country can do, in addition to fiscal policy adjustments, is that we can consider supply-side policies. Now that we've identified that, it's cost-push inflation that we are facing, we can find out that what goods are driving the inflation rates of both food items and non-food items. What food items are driving the month-over-month increase in inflation? Is it bread? Is it gobe? We don't know, but we have to find out as a country and know that, okay, we know that A, B, and C is what's causing inflation. And the government implements subsidies, tries to reduce the cost of production for these goods.
Presenting their expectations ahead of the 2022 mid-year budget review, the panel said they expect government to pursue policies that would reduce the country's debt.
You realize that our exchange rate keeps increasing since the beginning of the year. It has really depreciated. And so I expect that exchange rates, items, or expenditures such as the external interest payments would also increase. And that will also increase our expenditure.
Considering the accounting concept, which is the prudence concept, I think I wouldn't anticipate to make so much money when I think there's another option. You are anticipating that, yes, the citizens will pay the e-levy so that you'll be able to work for them. But why should you anticipate when you don't have any proof or any grounds to stand on that, yes, the citizens are going to pay? So the best alternative should have been the IMF long ago, about some months ago.
The panel advised government to protect homegrown policies in the education, health and employment sectors.
They always say that the health of the country is the wealth of a country. So, in fact, yes, we can argue that the National Health Insurance Scheme doesn't cover so many things as we expect, but at least the little things it covers is enough.
I believe that the IMF should not touch education.
They should not touch anything on education?
Yeah, free SHS especially. Okay. Because if you are going to look at the PDFs, the blueprints of what a developed nation, education of the youth is the bedrock. Okay. So it's from there that we develop. I believe that if push comes to shove, right, the free SHS in its current form may not fly because there's too much of a burden on the government. Okay. What can we do about this? First, I think that to reduce the burden on the government, there should be an allowance or an exemption such that if you can pay for your wards fees, pay. Those who cannot pay, then even for that one, it's like on students who are...
Okay. Go on.
Because as harsh as it may sound, it's an investment. The government is investing in the youth because we're expecting returns in future. So after those who can pay for their awards are paid, I believe that the fund, right, should focus or give priority to students who are needy but brilliant.
Okay, so it's about health, it's about education. Rabna, you want to say something?
Yes, please.
Okay. I think after here we are going to have question and answer. So if you have your questions, please jot them down. I'll give you the opportunity. You can ask any of the panelists, and I believe they are well prepared and well poised to respond to the questions for you. Rabna.
Okay, so Justice mentioned free SHS, and we have the Ghana card, which has the database of every Ghanaian. So I'm thinking that the government could sort of use the Ghana card to trace low-income earning families, because we have the database, okay, and then put those people on government scholarships so that the free SHS is still there, but then IMF introduces such conditionalities for the low-income earning families to benefit from it, and then those who can pay their fees, pay their fees.
Okay, I think that first, and before you even move to what I think they should protect, I think that we should involve the opposition in the negotiation.
What negotiation? The IMF negotiation?
Yes, I think they should be part. You see, we've come to a time where, or we should go beyond a time where it should be winner takes all. Okay. This, whatever they're going into now, it's not just at the moment. Yeah. It goes beyond just today. Exactly. And they have to be previewed to whatever is going on, so that if there are any ideas on the other side, we can have them being part of what the discussion that we have now. So that they can't come back to Pi and tell us that, oh, we are not privy to it. Okay.
Some students commended Joy Business for the initiative and called for more of such to be organized.
So I thought the program was very interactive and educative. What I'm taking away is the fact that we need to have these conversations a lot more often so that the public voice is also heard. And if our leaders do take these things into consideration, it could go a long way to develop our nation.
I think this has been very, very educative, and I think we should have more programs like this.
I must say it was refreshing hearing the views of the students from the University of Ghana Business School. Now, let's bring you tips on how best to invest your money in this episode of Money Lab.
Hello there, you're welcome to Money Lab. My name is Lawrence Oshila Jabwampong. Today, we'll be looking at fixed income securities. What is fixed income security? Now, fixed income is a type of investment in which real return rates or periodic income is received at regular intervals and at reasonably predictable levels. Fixed income securities are investments where the cash flows are according to a predetermined amount of interest paid on a fixed schedule. Fixed income investments can be used to diversify one's portfolio as it poses less risk than equities and derivative instruments. Retired individuals typically tend to invest heavily in fixed income investments because of the reliable returns that they do offer. Thank you for joining us and see you next time.